I've really fallen in love with building tiny homes. I love, first of all, just the freedom and the creativity it allows me to pursue. It's really fun to kind of have a blank slate in terms of the design and maximizing the space. So my name is Noah Van Holebush. I own Left Coast Tiny Homes based here on Salt Spring Island, BC. So I built this tiny home. I'm the main lead carpenter designer, and this is a labor of my love. So this is a variation of the Tantalus model. This design is 26 feet long, 10 feet wide, and it's a little over 300 square feet, including the loft. And this is my 10th tiny home to date. When I started my business about 6 years ago now, I built the first tiny home for myself so I could kind of, make all the mistakes, work out all the kinks on that one. And I still live in it. I still love it. I love how it simplifies your life. It requires you to ask yourself what you really need, what you really don't need. So really enjoyed the tiny home. Let's go and take a look around. So working along the side here, the standard siding that I like to use on all my tiny homes for the majority of the structure is this standing seam metal siding. It's a great product because it just looks great for a long time, and especially when you don't have an overhang or an eave on tiny homes, it's always nice to use a metal siding or something that won't be weatherable. So with this product, in 20 years you could power wash it, it's going to look brand new again. The wood features that I use, I always like to do a little bit of an accent where I can. But where I do use the wood, as you can see next to the door here and up under the overhang as well, there are sections that I plan to cover or at least have some sheltering over so that they won't weather quite as much. And one of the things I always plan to do in my tiny homes is to do a small entry deck and an entry roof as well, just to kind of like protect the area and allow yourself some cover going in and out of the door there. So this trailer is 26 feet long. The building is 10 feet wide. It's basically all built with standard 2x4 residential construction techniques. The roof pitch is just a 112, so we maximize the amount of space that there is up in the loft, but still have sufficient slope for drainage. We've got the vents here for our air exchanger, as well as our on-demand hot water heater vents. And then coming over to this side, you can see this side has the majority of the glazing on it. This tiny home was designed site-specific, so it was planned to go in a location where there would be the majority of the view coming out of this side of the structure. So that's why we've kind of orientated the structure a little bit differently than our standard Tantalus model, and just provided more glazing looking out the side of the building than looking out the end. Again, just coming around to the front side, a few features. I always like to have some exterior accent lighting in the tiny home to provide obviously light for using the space out around the structure, but also just creating nice accent lighting in the dusk and in the nighttime. So a few lights up here underneath the soffit. And then as we come around to the front of the building here, it's kind of hard to see in this light, but there's this tall cedar light here that I've done on the last few of these, which is a nice feature because it provides ambient light to the entryway here, but when you shut the light off, because this light is built out of the same material that is on the building, when you turn the light off, the light itself kind of just disappears, and so it's a nice kind of subtle feature there that I've enjoyed. So I always like to use these nice fir doors full light to allow a lot more light to come in there. Again, it's pretty essential that you protect these, so I plan to build an overhang over top of this, but I'm a big fan of these fir doors and the aesthetic that they provide. So coming into the tiny home, we have a nice little seating area here, living room kind of situation with two large windows in the corner here again. This tiny home was site specific, so a lot of the view was going out this side of the building in the corner, so that's kind of why we designed it this way. Moving over into the kitchen and dining room space here, as this is a bit of a variation from my last Tantalus model. The original design had an L-shaped kitchen here with the stools on this side, but we've switched it around and put the stools and the seating area facing out the window for a couple reasons. The first being to provide more counter space, and so that when you're sitting and eating, you're looking out the window rather than looking towards the space as the other design had. So lots of counter space, lots of workable, functional space here for cooking. Nice large 24-inch propane range, which is a little uncommon for tiny homes to have something this size, but it's a nice full-size oven still. The hood fan there to get rid of all the vapor and everything, and then obviously a nice large window in front of the sink. Lots of cabinetry, lots of drawer space, lots of storage here, and a relatively large fridge in the corner here with some storage above. Where I can, I'll add these little accent shelves in. These were all made out of the same material as the countertop, And then a nice little LED accent lighting here as well. If I can, I'll try to have different zones in the living room and kitchen. So in the evenings, you can shut the ceiling lights off. You can turn on the accent lighting here and the pendant light here, and really kind of like dim things down and transition into bedtime. I'm a big fan of the material that we've used on the walls here. It's the standard 1x8 FJP shiplap. With the shiplap material, we basically create an architectural detail out of the joint instead of trying to hide it. And so it's nice for different temperature fluctuations in the space. If these boards move independently of each other, then you won't see those cracks happen or things kind of shift. So it's a really nice product. It's also primed on all four sides, so it has really superior moisture prevention and just like handling different temperature fluctuations and things like that. The ceiling, we have this is the 1x6 pine TNG that's been stained. And then on the flooring, we have a engineered hardwood as well, which trying to tie the tones a little bit together there to keep a little bit of continuity in the space. Heading up, transitioning up into the loft space, obviously a little bit of room underneath the stairs here for more additional storage. I always like to use every kind of cubic inch I can, so nice deep storage here. This one has a little bit of a spice rack there for just added functionality to the kitchen. Nice kind of casual set of stairs going up to the bedroom here. We have this ambient LED accent lighting underneath the top here, so if you have to get up in the middle of the night, you can just flick that accent lighting on, and that'll allow you enough light to access the head down to the bathroom without having to turn on your ceiling lights. And then as well, just maximum functionality with the dropped walkway next to the bed, so ease of access in and out of the bed without having to climb up a ladder. Again, ambient accent lighting up above the bed. It's nice to provide lighting to that space, but not kind of take up any room where your head would be with a light fixture. So that's why the LED is a good option for there. And these are all on dimmers. All the lights I provide dimmers for, so that you can really kind of personalize the space to exactly what you want. A large dresser here, hanging storage, and then we got lots of drawers here down. So plenty of clothes storage there. And then a nice big long-term storage cubby on the opposite side of the bed there, where you can kind of keep winter clothes and things as seasons change. You can shift that around. And then this is a queen-size mattress as well. All right, so heading into the bathroom now. We've got a relatively large bathroom for a tiny home of this size. Yes, we've got a standard 36-inch vanity, and then to try to add a little bit more character to the space, I did this for accent wall behind the mirror here that kind of matches, ties in with the vanity, and just makes the space pop a little bit. And then we've got the nice, relatively large tiled shower here as well. This will have a glass wall or a glass door on it eventually, but that could be a glass door, it could be a shower curtain, whatever anybody wanted. Standard flushing toilet in the corner there, and then we have space for a washer and dryer down here as well, and just an on-demand hot water heater in the corner kind of completes that space. So as for the systems in this tiny home, we've got a pretty standard 60 amp electrical service, and we just have basic baseboard heaters. So you've got a heater under the window over by the bar here, a small heater next to the door, which will be underneath where the coats hang to kind of like dry your jackets, and then another small heater in the bathroom as well that is situated underneath the towel rack, so that'll dry your towel as well. So the majority of my tiny homes that I build these days are out to the 10-foot width. I have a lot of clients coming to me and looking for more space, and it makes a huge difference going from 8.6 to 10 feet. There's just a few different construction techniques and methods around attaching the tiny home to the trailer, and depending on how you do that and where you are located, that actually dictates what is involved in the permitting process in order to transport your tiny home down the road. As for the structure, we've got a standard 26-foot tiny home trailer. We have a floor frame on top of the trailer. We've got an 8-foot trailer and a 10-foot structure. Rigid insulation in the floor, 2x4 wall framing with Roxul R14 insulation in the walls, and then we do a full spray foam in the ceiling. A couple of reasons for that, mainly because you lose most of your thermal efficiency out of the ceiling, so it really creates a nice well-sealed structure, as well as not having overhang, so we don't have a ventilated ceiling cavity, which means we like to use spray foam in that situation, which allows us to create a nice well-sealed ceiling cavity and well-insulated. So I'm a big fan of customizing tiny homes rather than just having kind of like a cookie cutter model where it's the same design every single time. The smaller the space, I think it's more and more essential to have a space that is catered exactly to the client and to what they value, what they desire. So I've had lots of inspirations for my designs over the years. Fritz Tiny Homes is one of them, and I also love Tiny House Spacious, I think it's called. They're a French company. And then Shay's Tiny Homes in New Zealand, and True Form Tiny, I believe they're in Oregon as well. And it's always fun to see what other people are doing. I do most of the work myself. I have certified subtrades, electricians, plumbers, gas fitters that come in and do all that work, but all of the carpentry work and basically like all the finishing work and most of everything I do myself. So one of the main things that I've loved about having my own business here with Left Coast Tiny Homes is that it gives me freedom over my time. For one thing, it helps me structure and sequence things in regards to the build to be more productive and more efficient throughout that process. And then it also allows me freedom outside of work to pursue my passions. And I'd like to think that when you find a good balance in life, that can really kind of shine through the things that you produce and the things that you do.
Subscribe to Exploring Alternatives, and please share this video if you liked it. You can also follow and find out more about Noah's Tiny Homes on Instagram and on his website at Left Coast Tiny Homes. Thanks for watching.